Jamie McMurray with you here to handle all the action from the world's fastest half mile. Guys, this place kind of speaks for itself, right? There's all these things you can say about Bristol, but it's Bristol.
Yeah, super fast. I would say most drivers love coming here. I always liked it. The impression you get the first time you walk through the gate on the backstretch, and you realize exactly that looks flat on TV and it's so baked when you walk across, but such a fast racetrack park. I love coming here.
This place is awesome. The last great Coliseum is such a cool moniker, and I think the thing that gets me is when you arrive here through the hills there of Tennessee and Virginia, and you come upon these grandstands that just sort of sprout out of the ground suddenly, and it's this massive arena you know you're going to go do battle in. It's so cool, and driving it's just so fun. Just turning laps like we're watching Sam Mayer do right here are fun.
Yeah, first one on the track today. He's ready to put last week behind him. Tough go at Rockingham. Had some engine issues all day long that ultimately sidelined them. But he's good here at Bristol, so a nice opportunity for them to right the ship in this 41.
Well, he's been plagued all year. I mean, the power steering issues they had earlier this season, it just seems like if it has went wrong for a team, it's went wrong for Sam Mayer. But I like how he's trying to change his luck. I saw a new haircut this week.
Turn it around.
As a driver, you'll do anything you can. A little superstitious. Got a buzz cut going this week.
The lengths a driver will go to change their luck are unknown,
right.
because
whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes, and whatever you think could change mentality. But that is kind of a microcosm of their season as well. They've had speed, they've been up front, but they just have all these weird issues that have consistently plagued them. There we go.
I think it looks good.
Yeah, it's all right. I like it.
Totally different looking guy right there.
He had the flow for a while. I always thought that was a cool look, but yeah, whatever it takes, man, you'll do it.
That flow is in right now. All the young guys have that. I'm not cool enough to
Well,
pull
he's
it
going to
off,
start
I
a
guess.
new trend.
Right,
Yeah.
right. All right, let's check in on pit road, and we'll start with Kim Kuhn. Hi, Kim.
Hey, guys. You guys mentioned Sam Mayer's buzz cut. They did tell me they were trying anything to lose the bad luck. Sam saying that was totally out of his comfort zone. They're also leaning into Ted Lasso. I talked to Jason Trincherry, the crew chief, earlier today. Said, have you ever watched the show Ted Lasso? I said, yes. He goes, go on our hauler, see if you recognize anything. That believe sign is on the 41 hauler. Not only that, Jason told me that he sent Sam a clip from the show, the Be a Goldfish clip. Now, if you haven't seen the show, Ted Lasso, the soccer coach or manager, sends his player the message that he needs to be a goldfish. That means forget tough things quickly. A goldfish is the happiest animal because they have a 10-second memory. And ironically enough, Jason pointed out that the player that Ted Lasso's talking to in the show about that is also named Sam.
Did you watch that?
Yeah, I did. It's a great show.
I love that show.
I love the mentality there, but the one thing about race car drivers, they have a really long memory. It's normally for everything that's went against them.
Well, because you have to for the craft, and you want to remember so many little particular things about every track and every race that you do, and put them in the mental notebook and all those things. But then Kim is correct, and it's a great way to go through life, which is don't let it plague you, don't let it hold you back or hold you down. Put those, you know, a short-term memory is the best thing you can have as an athlete, but it is counterintuitive to a race car driver in some respects. I love ill-fated Texas trip we had many years ago where during COVID we were all stuck in a hotel room for 4 days.
I was watching that one on TV and not missing being there.
Yeah,
so
no, trust me,
one.
it was cold and it snowed and it rained, and I watched a lot of Ted Lasso.
Austin Hill on the racetrack. Interested to see what this 21 team does this weekend. Bristol, they will tell you, has not been one of their good racetracks. And I spoke to Chad Haney, who crew chiefs this car at Rockingham, and he was already thinking about this weekend. Said that Bristol is a tough spot for us every single year. They felt like their sim work that they had already done was positive. I know sometimes the sim isn't entirely accurate, but I think it probably helps to have a good one as opposed to a bad one. But they know they've got some work to do here.
So I think, you know, it's worth dissecting this for a little bit, because I feel like we've heard this from the 21 team repeatedly over the last couple of years, and obviously I worked closely with them when I was at Big Machine. And what's interesting about Austin is for how good he is at the super speedways, road courses, mile and a half, so short tracks are a bit of a blind spot. Yes, he's won at Martinsville, but for whatever reason, he just doesn't seem to have the ability to repeat success at these tracks. And I think some of it comes down to his particular driving style, which I've remarked at the mile and a half. What makes him so good is he's so comfortable with that car being so loose on entry and so out of control on the entry portion. It allows him to have very direct entries, shallow entries, you could say. And when you go to some of these short tracks, they just don't allow that. You've got to work harder to have a car that's secure on the entry to allow the car to turn through the center. And I think that's why they have these weekends at these short tracks where it's either hit or miss. And it's just part of what his style is and how he drives these race cars that is going to make it tough to be repeatable.
Last week's winner, William Sawalich, circulating here at Bristol. That was great to see for William. They have had so many flashes where it seems like today could be the day for them, and just haven't been able to put it together over this first year and a quarter of his career in this series. And he had to go up there and take it last week. Went by his teammate Brent Cruz and then put together a last final stint that was really solid last week, and ultimately was able to get that monkey off his back and finally get to victory lane. So no, that was huge for he and crew chief Jeff Mendering. I thought this stat was interesting about Sawalich. He's the youngest winner of 2026 by nearly 9 years. Sheldon Creed is 28. He's the next youngest. Everybody else that's won in this series this year is over 30. So Sawalich doing one for the young guys here last week.
You always wonder, does that say that he's young or the others are just old at this point?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
It was awesome to see him get to victory lane, and solid. That was a great word to describe what they did. The fact that they were able to lead 80 laps last weekend. He didn't make any mistakes. You look at the 17, had some issues on pit road. His teammate Brent Cruz looked like he had a car, capable of winning as well. Got into the wall late in the race, but William did an awesome job. Was able to not make any mistakes and go to victory lane and come into a track that he's won at a couple times in the ARCA car here. A few years ago, he won, I think in 23 and 24, won the ARCA races at this track. So you come off of a win, and then you go to a track that you have won at before. That is a great recipe.
By the way, you see the green on the front valence and rear spoiler of this car. That means he is Dash for Cash eligible. This is week 1 of 4 of the Dash for Cash. So you'll see that down in the bumper as well at the bottom of the screen. The drivers highlighted in green are those that are eligible for that bonus prize later on this afternoon. Well, we have a new member of our broadcast team. Veteran motorsports reporter Heather DeBow joins us on the CW this afternoon. Hi, Heather.
Hey, Dylan, it's good to see you and be here in Bristol. And one of those Dash for Cash drivers is Justin Allgaier. Now, Justin, you guys are waiting about 20 minutes before you go out. What are you going to accomplish here in this practice session when we do see you out on track?
Yeah, with only having one set of tires, you really have to kind of manage what you feel like is the best for the long run and the short run both. So you let the BJ run in a little bit, but really proud of this team. Everybody at Junior Motorsports, we've unloaded really fast Chevrolets everywhere we've gone, and it's not for lack of effort. A lot of hard work goes into these race cars. So, we got a beautiful Carolina Carboy Chevrolet. Now we just got to go out there and have a strong finish. Huge thanks to Riley Auto Parts, Dash for Cash. Running for $100,000 at a racetrack we all love is really, really cool and obviously special. So we're going to go have make the most of the runs that we have here in practice. Hope we get a good qualifying effort and have a lot of fun tonight.
Now, Justin Allgaier talked about that beautiful Chevrolet he has there. Now, that paint scheme is actually a concept paint scheme for Dale Earnhardt Sr. that never got used. So pretty cool, guys.
Yeah, great looking race car.
Yeah, and Heather, I would tell you that what Justin said there, I'll translate real quick here, is he said, Heather, I've won 3 times this year. I feel very comfortable with where my race team is. I've also won at this track twice, including once last year. I feel really good with where I am, and we don't need as much practice. We want to let the track get to where it needs to. You see how black it is on the bottom. I think this is a story today, Parker, based on what we saw in the Truck Series race last night. It looks to me, they say that they, being NASCAR, said that they have applied this exactly the same as they did last year. It does not look like that, though, when you see how much rubber is being laid down.
No, it doesn't, and there's crew chiefs I talked to earlier today who were remarking how it was stickier than they felt like in the past when you just walked on it. So it definitely could be more dominant than we've seen in past years here as of late. The one thing that will happen with this sticky stuff we put down there that you see as to why. I know you can use PJ1
That was,
sticky
no,
stuff.
it was just so technical. You said it was sticky when I ran my shoe through it.
Yeah, well, hey,
yeah, there you go.
It's the barometer we have here. It's the metric we're using. But the thing that happens with it that's interesting is you'll see the outside lane come in because it smears up the racetrack is some of the theory as to why that happens. And obviously rubber laying down, but early on it can have a lot of grip, and then it heats up and it can kind of go through a transition phase. So we're what? 5, 6 years into doing this, 7 years. I can't remember how many years we've been doing this, but
I think it's been longer than that.
Maybe we're
yeah,
almost 10 actually. When
it's
we
been
started
going
this
on
back
for
in 2016,
yeah,
2017.
for a while.
And so, well, and I think the funny thing is we still don't know exactly how it always reacts and what it does all the time.
It's different every year.
Yeah,
like
it
they
just
do
changes.
it the same, and it just seems to respond differently. The weather plays a
Yes.
huge role in how that's activated and how it works and how well or it works or doesn't work. But it's a good balance, I think, because if you think back, the reason we have this is because they tried to grind the top of the track so nobody would run up there, and it created significantly more grip, and everybody ended up going there. So if we get the top to come in and we have the sticky stuff, the PJ1 on the bottom, creates some just awesome racing here.
All right, I'm redeeming myself real quick. It was 2016 the first time we did it. That's
I
when
think
I
you
went to
said that.
second.
You said that.
Yeah.
5 minutes in, you said that.
It's time to go racing under the lights.
Down the street with your red lips and funky beat, you better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die. Hey, swing those hips around, can't stop, roll back down, my ladies, short, tall, thin or wide, always down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, been holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Whether you're ready or not, time for it all. Break free of history. This train is racing straight ahead. No man can do like I can. I'm the queen of the land. Haters gonna hate. Won't be sorry now. Shoot me down, but I'll rise again. I'm laying down the law, and you've been served. One by one, billion by billion, been holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time.
Leading day, leading 276 of 300 laps in the Hendrick Motorsports 17 car. He is back in the field today, albeit in the Junior Motorsports 88. So different digs than last year, but he's been in that car twice already this year. That car last year, of course, driven by this man, Connor Zilich, who is in the one car this weekend. His third start of the year.
They trick us every week.
I was gonna say,
It's like
Junior
tough up
Motorsports
here.
doing
What
their
driver,
best
what
attempt.
car?
Well,
Yeah.
just wait till we see all the HendrickCars.com cars.
Well, you're safe to say that's the sponsor.
Oh,
Because you're
that's
going to get
true.
it right.
Hey, you just missed. That was a wild slide there. He got to 1 and 2, and the right rear just said, absolutely not. I will not be accepting this amount of force, and just gave out. He went up the track.
Hey, so as you guys were talking about this PJ1 earlier, it's a night race tonight. Last year, this race was kind of a sunset race, but there's never been a spring night race here at Bristol, so how do you anticipate that changing things?
I think it does usually tend to make the bottom more dominant. So as we take a real quick, let's take a look back at this slide. I don't know if this look as dramatic from the outside.
I think it was a little bit of apron right there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. His hands were fast.
I think you oversold that a little bit.
Well, there's a bit more. His hands were doing a lot of work on the in-car camera. But the thing about that, Dylan, it's a great point, is that it's going to be cooler, right? And having run the truck race here many times in the spring that's at nighttime, compared to the summer race, what it normally means is the track's a little faster, obviously there's a little bit of grip, it's cooler out there, and then the bottom just stays dominant a little longer. I think in the O'Reilly series, though, I don't know how large of an effect they'll have compared to trucks, just because these cars lay down a little bit more rubber, less downforce, they slide around a little bit more. I think the top could come in quicker than we've seen in the trucks, and obviously last night it's really struggled to make the top come in, but trucks just didn't have long enough green flag runs.
Zillage 7th.
Yeah, that's key. You got to have a long run so that the balance goes away on the cars, and that forces those guys to search around. You mentioned Larson being back. I was trying to find him on the scoring pylon, and I started like in the middle and worked my way up, and I had to go all the way to second to find him. Yeah, picked up right where he left off.
Yeah, he was so impressive here a year ago. Not only just the outright speed in that car, but how he managed traffic and the gap over Allgaier and ultimately Quapple there at the end of that race. So good. And as we said, his third start this year in that 88 car, as you look out the back of the Roto-Rooter on board at Larson. Won at Vegas earlier this year and finished 4th at Darlington, did Larson in this 88.
He had a little bit of a moment himself.
Well, I think you oversold that.
No, I only gave an oomph.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I just wanted
a little bit of a moment right there.
Tit for tat.
Larson second behind this man, Brandon Jones, in the 20 with the monster colors on the hood of that car this weekend. I think you got to feel good if you're Sam McCauley and Brandon Jones on this 20 team. Top two of the last 3 weeks, including last week at Rockingham. And good here, too, at Bristol.
He is good here. And, you know, for, what was it, first couple weeks of this year, we're like, oh, no, Joe Gibbs Racing hasn't got the finishes.
Yeah, where are they?
Where are they? All these things. And it's like very quickly that's going to change. And it kind of started with them getting that top 2 at Darlington and then moving it forward into, obviously, Swalwich winning at Rockingham. And I think it's just, this is the normal Joe Gibbs Racing we're used to seeing in the O'Reilly series. And Brandon is really good here. He's really good on short tracks in general. So he will absolutely be a threat.
Yeah, the last 4 races for JGR, all the statistical categories have improved. You mentioned the win with Swalwich there. DNFs have decreased. Average finish across the board as teammates has increased as well. There's one of the teammates, Brent Cruz, in the 19. His first start here in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, but he won in ARCA last fall and also ran the Truck Series race here in September.
Pretty interesting to watch these two guys run around there. A little bit of a different line for being right on the bottom. Saw the 20 car move. Ooh, the 19 is really struggling for rear grip on exit. See Brent managing, staying right on the yellow line, keeping his left front on that. The one thing to note about this track as you watch, the yellow line is not necessarily where the apron starts. They've cheated that up just a little bit so that the perspective in the car is better. You see Brandon now trying to get just a little bit lower, but typically here the guy that can run lower is going to exit straighter.
But one of the things that's key there that you're seeing is I see a little bit of a veteran of the O'Reilly series versus a young driver who's obviously using that bottom to get the car to rotate really well, which can pay off. But what Brandon was doing with that little bit more of a diamond there through 3 and 4, that can pay off in these cars, especially late on tires for whatever reason. Sometimes it just feels like you want to be able to diamond the corner a little bit, get a straighter exit, get the power down. It's just part of what makes the O'Reilly car unique in that it has such little downforce. As you wear those tires, you're looking to make your exit straighter than you particularly would, especially later in the run versus what you do now in practice.
Musical chairs continues for Carson Quapple. He's in the 9 again this weekend. The High Rock Vodka car. Another guy, got to look at him as one of the favorites here at Bristol. Finished 2nd in the spring, 4th last fall. Really good here. And for more on him, let's check in with Kim.
In fact, Dylan, the only driver last season to finish top 5 in both Bristol races. So I talked to crew chief Philip Bell earlier this morning just on the expectation being back in the 9 seat for Carson, and he said, the expectation is to win. He's like, I hope we win, or at least I hope we have a very good showing. It's going to make up for the fact that I am missing my younger sister's wedding. That's right, Philip's younger sister Amber getting married in Georgia this afternoon, 5 p.m. And so we talk about the sacrifices that team members, crew members, drivers make to chase their racing dream. This is the perfect example. Philip did say that they are going to have a 75-inch television at the reception, so the wedding party will be cheering him on, but we wish the best to his younger sister Amber and her soon-to-be husband.
Well, hey, and if you feel like you can win, I guess maybe it's worth skipping out.
You'll be the most popular person at the wedding and you weren't even there. That's the win you get. Trust me, I've had plenty of family race parties who people would come up to me all the time and say, man, that was so fun, and we were at your house and whatever, and you remember this? And I said, I was racing. I was on the TV racing.
And you know, Philip crew chief Sammy Smith last year, he finished 4th in this race in the spring. So between his knowledge and Carson's expertise at this racetrack, pretty good pairing, and excited to see what they can do this afternoon. And Justin Allgaier, the other junior motorsports car in the field, one of those in the 7. Heard about the Carolina Carport scheme on this race car. One of the best at this racetrack, and led a few laps last year before some contact from Kyle Larson kind of rooted him out of the way there in the closing stages.
That plus at the end of that race, he was
Kept him
tracking
honest.
Larson down for the first time in that race. We talked about how fast Larson was on that day, and the first stage he lapped up to 13th and had almost half a straightaway lead or half a track lead on 2nd and 3rd place. It was unbelievable. But the one who kept him honest was Justin Allgaier. Those two, they've almost got a rivalry brewing a little bit when Larson comes down here in terms of just going mano a mano.
Well, it's not a given anymore.
No,
I think that's what's so great.
Yeah.
Like Larson comes and runs these races, and obviously he's still going to be a contender to win, and he has this year. But the 7 car has been just as fast as some of these racetracks, if not better.
9 stage wins and almost 1,300 laps led here for Allgaier. One of his best racetracks. In fact, those are 2 of his most at any single racetrack, those 2 stats. So gets around this place awfully well. Underway in practice here in Thunder Valley. Always great to have the O'Reilly cars here at Bristol. On single lap speed, but those long run averages are always important. Yeah, Corey Day, 5 and 10 lap average fastest. Taylor Gray good on the long run, 15 lap average. We've seen that from him plenty of times this year.
Hey, Jamie, the next two were the same person.
Yeah, I like those next two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeb Burton is fourth in the 27 car, I should say.
Continues great speed. We saw he led practice at Daytona and Phoenix, and
That's right.
you know, this has been one of the themes of this season. Just wondering what Jordan Anderson Racing would bring with this alliance of RCR, how that would improve their running, their pace at tracks like this, the mile and a half, and it's been a learning experience for this organization. But we saw some of the early signs of that at Phoenix with Jeb running so well there, and all their cars running well. And so I think, you know, the big thing for them in this first portion of the season is trying to almost normalize that data flow from RCR and sort of connect it to the way they work and the way they've set up their cars and trying to learn what RCR does. But I have definitely seen the telltale signs spit it out, I'm going to get there eventually, signs that they have definitely increased their pace at Jordan Anderson Racing. This is just another example of that.
Well, it's been a good week for Jeb on and off the racetrack. Got engaged.
Hey.
Fiance Amanda, always here at the racetrack, and congratulations to both of them. Happy family there.
That's good for Jeb.
That is.
That's awesome. He's
one of the good guys.
He is.
Let's check back in with Kim for more on Jeb.
Yeah, you saw that engagement photo. He told me that was a bright spot and what he feels like has been a rough 4 weeks for he and this Jordan Anderson Racing team. And I want to go a little bit deeper into what Parker was talking about, that RCR alliance, because yes, there is speed there and there is data, but Jeb told me it's a matter of figuring out the best way to use that info. So Parker, you kind of touched on it, but through their RCR alliance, they get so much good information, so much good data, but he doesn't feel like they've honed in on the right way to use it. And once they figure that out, he feel like it's going to be a lightning bolt, and you're going to see more of the results on track.
And that's a great point, Kim. And I wasn't doing a good job of going down that path where I couldn't speak for a second. But the point of that is, if you're watching this and you think, oh, it's like flipping a switch when you get RCR Alliance. Like, you're going to go just as fast as them. But there's so many things you have to set up within your organization to be able to accept all the data and the info they're going to give you. And there's things you can't change just overnight. You can't suddenly change the setup of your race cars and some of the suspension components, or have enough of them in a quick enough fashion to be able to go to do exactly what they have. So it's about almost like slowly but surely letting that information trickle in, use the parts that you think are helpful. As wow, Sheldon Creed has a big wiggle there off of 4, and then hopefully getting closer and closer aligned to RCR as you go on.
Jeb carrying the torch for Jordan Anderson Racing, 4th right now, 6 different organizations inside the top 10. Sheldon Creed is 11th right now.
Sheldon's been just Mr. Consistent. You look at the last 6 or 7 weeks, it's every week, top 5, top 10. And we talked about all the bad luck that his teammate Sam Mayer's had. They haven't had any. It's been a great year for Sheldon. He got that win in Atlanta earlier this season. Everyone loved seeing him be able to go to victory lane, and then they just have been super consistent. Doesn't matter what type track we go to, they're a player every single week.
Well, and you guys have mentioned this before with guys that win that first race. It's just such a weight off your shoulders. I think it just relaxes you inherently.
Oh, my goodness.
And maybe makes things a little easier. Now, this
triple.
This will be fun later on this evening under the lights, trying to, and naturally they'll, of course, all be racing each other at some point. The 300cars.com car. So Corey Day, full-time in the 17 this year, of course, at the top of the screen. On the right, Kyle Larson in the 88 with the red numbers, the red front valence and rear spoiler. And then Raja Karuth, who sometimes is in the 88, but is in the 32 this weekend for Jordan Anderson Racing, is in the other HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. So his car will have the green on it, the green nose and spoiler, courtesy of his eligibility for Dash for Cash, which he got because he was in the 88 last week. So keep track of all of that if you can. And one thing we do know is they'll probably all be pretty fast. 3 good shoes in those cars.
I should not have made fun of Parker for getting tongue-tied earlier, because there's no doubt.
I was going to say,
there is no doubt that tonight this is going to bite one of us.
Do we want to make bets on who's the first to get that wrong?
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I like Rick's chances of winning tonight, though. He's got 3 in the race. It's a good shot.
Yep. There's Adam Wall, crew chief for the 17. Won his first career race as a crew chief in this race last year with Kyle Larson behind the wheel. And you talk about consistency. Corey Day continues to impress. Once he got things figured out the early part of the year, the speed has always been there. Now the finishes are starting to follow suit, and that first career win, I feel like, is just around the corner.
It's imminent. You know, 7 straight top 10s leading the series right now in terms of the consistency. And the most remarkable part to me, and, you know, Jamie, you'll understand this, when we were watching him early in the season, he was having some of those issues and run-ins and sloppiness and that sort of thing. He cleaned that up, but lost no pace, and if anything, got faster, got better, got more consistent. It was just like light bulb went off, and boom, he's figured it out. And if it wasn't, you know, last week was dominant most of that race until it fell away from them in the 3rd stage, but he is absolutely going to win here soon, and could be today.
I think last week, though, was impressive because when you said, I mean, he had the best car last week. They had the issues on pit road. He didn't melt down. And to me, that's a sign that you've really grown, because I feel like the first couple of races this year, or going back to last year, that people panic in those situations. But they've been so good at so many different racetracks. I've been incredibly impressed with him at the step he has taken since getting sat down. Like, I think those can go both ways for drivers. You know, you can get timid, but he told us that following week, I remember going in the hauler, and you ask him that question, like, how do you keep speed and you know, not be in those same situations? But he has done it, and I would say that between he and Carson Kvapil, those are going to be our guys that are going to get their first win in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series soon. And
real quick before we move on, I thought Kim had a great point in our production meeting this morning, that she talked to Adam Wall, and he said he feels like Bristol is the place where that first win could happen. Corey just has the skill set. The bravado is the term that Adam used to do what you need to do to be successful around here. He's had a good mentor in Kyle Larson for sure. Mentioned Viking Motorsports earlier. Here's Anthony Alfredo. He is carrying the torch for that group 7th, with Parker Retzlaff in 10th. Another guy that knows his way around this racetrack. Qualified 3rd here a couple years ago with Our Motorsports. He had Josh Graham as his crew chief back then. He's back on the box with him this year. So
because you don't know the limit. Is it going to be? It is dirty up. You can tell that line wasn't faster. Brent Cruz went by him, but you know that as a driver, you're just trying to see what you have. Like, am I looser on entry? That much brake, it's just kind of rolling around the corner, and then when you get back to the throttle, you can be so aggressive on the throttle getting back to it here because of the amount of grip. So much fun.
I just think it's super impressive. Viking Motorsports, 2 cars in the top 10 right here. Retzlaff has kind of led the torch for this race team. The 96 has had issues, but watch out when they start to clean those up. Anthony Alfredo is fast. He and Josh Graham gel so well. This whole organization is obviously growing and just really impressing early on.
And at a lot of different types of tracks. And to me, that's where you have success. If you can go, if you're just good at Daytona, Talladega, that's fine. But you're good at a lot of different type racetracks, and that tells me that organization's where they need to be.
Saw Raja Karuth earlier. He is on pit road in the 32. Let's take a listen to some team communication.
A little bit of smoke here, a little bit of smoke here, a little bit of smoke here. If everything doesn't feel okay, bring it right to us. A little bit of smoke. Grab the apron, please. Temps okay? I don't know. I smell a little bit of oil, obviously. We're going to have to check the engine here, so.
And as you heard there, the team thinking initially that might have been an engine issue, but right now they're working on the right rear, as you can see here on the screen. They said there's some grease coming out of that hub, so they might have to replace a seal. But his crew chief, Mark Setzer, reminding him, hey, listen, our pace and balance is okay, so don't hang your head here. We're going to keep working on it.
And it's not uncommon to hear that about this place. Super high loads. Here in Dover, some of the highest loads these cars will experience in terms of the force going through them, and if you have any sort of deficiencies in those hubs especially, you'll show here. It's great it happened now in practice. I can tell you that. Having had a hub fail here in races before, it's a horrible feeling, and it's just, this place is so abrasive to these race cars. That's one of those places that the points in the race car that fails, and it's really lucky to catch it early in practice.
Yeah, better to catch it now than early in the race for sure for the 32 team. Under 15 minutes to go in practice. Brandon Jones still at the top of the board.
So that radio communication you just heard was actually about half the length of all the information that Jesse gave his team. And in response, Danny Stockman, the crew chief, just said, I think I've got something that can help that. So again, they're on their last run for this practice.
Well, downforce Danny will get it done.
I was going to say. Wait, Danny Stockman or downforce Danny, the new social media superstar that is Danny Stockman, gaining many followers on Instagram, by the way. I'll let you unpack the radio.
I saw, you know, he posted something on Facebook that I saw. He was at...
You're on Facebook?
I am.
What are you doing on Facebook? You're not old enough to be on Facebook.
What are you doing?
So, but I somehow am, I think I'm friends with Danny on Facebook, but he posted something where he was at Starbucks and he ordered a drink with 7 shots of espresso in it.
It was 9.
Yeah, I mean, it's no wonder he's on the chip so much.
Well, when you're downforce Danny, there's no caffeine limit.
Yeah, just wide open all the time.
He's intense.
I'm sorry, I'm still shocked. You're on Facebook.
I am.
Parker makes fun of me for being on Facebook,
You're 32?
too?
I am.
Yeah,
but
the only guy on
old.
Facebook in this booth should be Jamie, because he's about 100.
Well, I like Facebook.
I'm not really on Twitter or X anymore. I'm on like Facebook.
We're going to have to talk about that
old time
later.
guy. Yep.
Okay. I like Reddit.
You are a Reddit guy.
Yeah.
Yep. There's lots of options out there.
Well, Parker's concerned with what everyone else is saying. We're not. We're looking for old cars on Facebook.
Spending too much on Marketplace and everything else.
You guys just have AI slop on Facebook.
That's right.
What about the 2-car? You see him working the middle or the top here,
Thanks,
too. I'll go
Jamie.
ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie.
I'll go ahead and roll us on into something else here.
He has run 74 laps, so he's another one that has spent a lot of time on the racetrack. Harrison Burton in the 24 for Sam Hunt Racing. He's down in 25th. Really looking forward to seeing what Harrison and all of Sam Hunt Racing can do. Harrison finished 13th last week at Rockingham, their best run of the year, led laps the week before at Martinsville. And this is, I think, one of Harrison's better racetracks. He has only one finish here in 6 starts, not in the top 10, and that was last spring when they had all kinds of issues, had a couple right fronts go down and stuff for the AM racing car. But there's some positive momentum right now for Sam Hunt Racing, both cars, and I think that this is another good opportunity for them to have a good day.
And I think we're consistently looking for it, right? We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. They led some laps at Martinsville, and that car had a good run at Rockingham. And it's just, this has been a tough start for Sam Hunt Racing and for Harrison Burton. And I think there's something we also have to be realistic about. When you look at all those teams in the midfield portion who made alliances with larger Cup-affiliated teams, Sam Hunt Racing is, you know, vehemently independent at this point and does not get help from Cup-level teams like that. So they are, you know, the series has gotten tougher for them, but you thought with Harrison going there and the great runs Dean Thompson had last year, they could take that next step forward, and it hasn't been the case. But I think everyone in the series wants to see them be successful, wants to see Sam be successful, and you just keep looking for the signs that they're going to turn the corner.
Yeah, you talk about good people down in that garage. Sam is about as good as they come, so certainly great to see some solid runs heading their way. We get a look at Josh Williams headed to pit road, and here's Parker Retzloff in the 99, currently 10th. He's run 67 laps aboard that Viking Motorsports car. He's clicked off some good runs here in recent weeks as well. That 8th place at Darlington and Rockingham, scored stage points in both of those races, finished in the top 10, qualified in the top 10. And we've talked so much about Viking Motorsports, and I just think it's so impressive. They're better year over year compared to last year, and they've expanded to 2 cars. That is so difficult to do. It's hard to just improve in general, but when you add another car, that's a huge undertaking.
Normally when you add a car, you slow down a little bit, but you're right. They've added a car this year. Their performance has been good, and you mentioned this. It's not fabricated finishes, which is really important. It's not like you had a fuel mileage race or circumstances led you to getting a good finish. Parker has been extremely fast this year. Anthony Alfredo, I think, has been really quick as well. I don't think he's got the finishes that he deserves, but Parker and I talk about Parker Retzloff every week, and just
I was like, which one are you referencing here?
Fast. I got tongue-tied saying your name twice. Just how fast he can be each week in qualifying. He can get the most out of a car.
Let's check back in with Heather.
And I spoke to the crew chief of the 99, Danny Eflin, about just what you guys were talking about. I said, how do you keep up this consistency? And he said, for us, it's business as usual. And he said, based on the expectations from the outside looking in, we've definitely been exceeding them. He said, it's a lot to overcome, like you guys mentioned with that 2-car team, a lot of newness, but they said things are becoming more consistent at the shop, and it surely is showing up here on track for Viking Motorsports.
And the thing, too, that I spoke to Danny about this earlier this year, too, they chose to make this expansion pretty late in the going. So they were kind of using the first 4 or 5 weeks of the year just to frankly get caught up and kind of get stabilized. And Danny said after they got back from the West Coast, as is the case for a lot of these teams, they kind of got their feet underneath them, and we've started to see some of that success. But it was late in the offseason when they decided to expand to 2 cars, and it made it all the more difficult.
And why is it tough? Just think about this. When you go to 2 cars, you basically need 2 of everything. When you're doing a 33 race schedule, it means double the people and double of every part within that organization. And sometimes you can't even get all that stuff in the time frame you want it or need it. So it's just, that's why it's so tough to expand and why it's been so impressive what they've done.
Ryan Sieg, 12th in practice right now, just 3 minutes remaining here in this practice session. 2 good weeks for him. Didn't have a top 10 after Daytona until the last 2 weeks. Has finished 9th the last 2 weeks.
I think there's no doubt it's been a frustrating year for Sieg. They had that alliance with the Haas factory team this year, and as we spoke to all these guys, you know, before the season started, I mean, the optimism for he and Jeremy Clements was through the roof, and it's clearly been a little bit disappointing, but they've had good speed. They just haven't been able to get to the end of the races. Hopefully having the 2 top 10s. He ran better than 9th last week at Rockingham, but still, you know, to get a couple of top 10s, have a little bit of momentum on your side, things turned around.
And here's the situation. They're 35 points below the cut line for the chase right now, right? And they've got a looming Brent Cruz who's going to be rocketing through the standings. Sam Mayer is currently out right now, so it's going to get very competitive around that cut line. And normally, Ryan Sieg is always in that conversation of the cut line. It seems like year after year, and they felt like maybe having this alliance would change that, but it hasn't been the case, and they're definitely rumbling towards another year of battling on that cut line just to make it in the chase.
JJ Yaley back in the Hettinger number 5.
Spoiler diecast on the back once again. Friend of the Money Lab.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking
Partner
about.
of the Money Lab.
Okay.
Your favorite podcast.
Okay,
You gotta get those mentions in.
A friend. They give us money is what Parker meant to say.
Josh Williams is the only guy on the racetrack right now with just under 90 seconds remaining here in practice. DGM Racing machine. He's down in 34th right now, so some speed to be found still, but he's run 77 laps.
Hey, you got the place to yourself.
Yep.
That's kind of unusual.
See what you got.
It shows you, you know, you look at how many laps some of these cars ran, 90+ laps. I mean, Sawallich at 99 laps. That's an immense amount of practice laps to have 50 minutes at a half mile like this. Not many stoppages, and we look at the most laps run. That's a lot. So, you know, many of these teams and drivers, once they got above 60 to 70, were probably like, okay, this is just run laps for the sake of running laps, which is why no one really ran it out except for Josh, and gets all these laps to himself. It's like he rented out the place.
Keeping tabs on the dash for cash drivers as well. We'll talk more about that in the race broadcast tonight, but they're spread out throughout this practice session. Brandon Jones is 2nd, William Sawallich and Justin Allgaier, they're bookending the top 15. Sawallich is 14th, Allgaier 16th, and Raja Karuth down in 24th. But Heather told you about some of the potential issues that they're having on that 32 car, so he had an abbreviated session, just 33 laps run. And that'll do it for practice. Joe Gibbs Racing at the top. Taylor Gray and Brandon Jones, the fastest 2, with Kyle Larson, Jesse Love, and Jeff Burton, the top 5. As we get a look at Raja and team owner Jordan Anderson hashing things out. Qualifying up next. Teams will get some time to debrief and dissect what they need. in there as well. So some nice parity at the front of the field. Let's go downstairs and hear from some drivers, and we'll start first with Heather DeBow.
And here with Raja, he's debriefing here with his crew chief, Mark Setzer. He's kind of giving you the rundown on what repairs they're going to make out there on that machine. But talk about how you were in practice, because I did notice there that you said you needed a little bit of adjustment. So just tell us about how your car was before the mechanical issue.
Yeah, Heather, I love coming here to Bristol. It's one of my favorite tracks. And I think for us on our 3200cars.com Chevy, we were just trying to get it freer. I think with how they've prepped the track in years past and what I've experienced, they're kind of looking for a certain thing from a balance perspective. And I didn't really feel like I had that until the last change there. And then we had unfortunate mechanical issues. So not able to qualify, unfortunately, but excited for what tonight brings, hopefully. So thank you to everybody at Jordan Anderson Racing and Bommarito Autosport. And huge thanks to Mr. H and Miss Linda and everybody at the Hendrick Automotive Group for, supporting me in this car and making sure I'm running full time. So, hopefully we can have a good result tonight, and we'll see what the Dash for Cash brings for us. Obviously, it's going to be a tough battle racing against Justin and B. Jones and William, but we'll see what tonight brings.
And your crew chief just pumped you up there, kind of giving you the don't worry about it, we're going to still make some stuff happen. So where do you put your mindset to work through the field knowing that you're going to start in the back tonight?
Honestly, I'll try to review practice and see. Like, I only ran really a little over 30 laps, so it wasn't like the best to get an assessment right, because I know a lot of guys ran longer, but just review what practice was. And obviously it's going to be important to stay on the lead lap, right? With whoever gets the pole, they're going to be moving in clean air, so just gotta make quick work of guys and keep the nose on it and be there at the end of the race, and that's all I can do.
All right, and just to update you on what the mechanical they're going to be fixing there, they're going to actually take out that rear end and replace the hub. It was an inner axle seal that's causing the issue on the 32. So they're going to take it to the garage, put it up on stands, and try to get it fixed as quickly as possible. Kim?
Well, Heather, we talked during practice about the success that Carson Kvapil saw at Bristol last year, finished top 5 in both races. So do you have a car that can replicate that here this afternoon?
I think so. This High Rock Chevrolet is really fast, and big thanks to Philip Bell and everyone on this 9 team for making it really fast. I rolled out there, and like lap 2 or 3, I'm like, ooh, it's pretty good. So we got a little bit tight there. We started off perfect, got a little tight, but make some small adjustments to it, and hopefully we can get a little more speed out of it. But gonna have to see where qualifying lands us. We are the 5th car to go out, I think. So that might be a little bit of an uphill battle, but we'll see. I think we got speed.
Good luck.
Thank you.
We talk about the challenges of this musical chairs that we're seeing Carson Kvapil do, being in multiple different car numbers, but there's also benefits. Not only did he debrief after practice, guys, with his crew chief this weekend, Philip Bell, but he also walked over to Rodney Childers, where he's with on the one side of things, and did a thorough debrief with him. So there are advantages to having multiple teams in your court.
Yeah, lots of good folks in his corner and supporting him this year. No doubt about that. Carson is right. He'll go out 5th. Qualifying, very important here at Bristol. no matter what's on the racetrack. It's always good here.
I've always liked the description, fighter jets in a fishbowl. That always just seemed cool to me in terms of like what you're trying to do here and how fast. When drivers talk about going so fast around here, it's just you're doing it in a half mile. Like it's the lap flies by, you can get disoriented and what side of the racetrack you're on in that sense. It's wild how fast you go around here.
All right, a lot of talk about haircuts today, so let's get a look at Sam Mayer live and in color here with this new do, and he's with Kim. Well, he's got a hat on. Kim, see if you can take the hat off.
Well, we're gonna make him take the hat off because he obviously has the new dude. I don't know if the do improves aero or speed. I would think maybe.
I'm hoping to improve speed because it's not improving much else other than that. But yeah, I'm super excited to get racing here at Bristol. This place is so much fun. Yeah, we got to turn the luck around, and I thought getting rid of the hair would help that. So we'll see if it works.
You have had success here in other series, 4 wins across ARCA and trucks. What is it about this racetrack that's clicked for you?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is just confidence. Like when you show up and you have a really good car like I did in ARCA and you show up and win, it just automatically boosts your confidence. So every time I show up here, it's just you're always looking to get another sword for the collection. But yeah, the Autobell Chevy's fast. The track's in really good condition right now, so I'm looking forward to see what we can do here in qualifying in a minute.
So Sam Mayer showing up with not only confidence, but a new do, Heather.
And Corey Day is 6th on the board after that practice session. So what did you learn about your race car that you can apply to tonight, and do you feel good about how your performance was out there?
Yeah, I thought our car was really good, firing off, and it trended well through the run as well. So we made an adjustment there. I felt a little tight to start, and I feel like that really brought it to life. So thanks to my guys for bringing another really good car.
Now you're still searching for your first win here in this series. Your crew chief, Adam Wall, told Kim a few weeks ago, you have this track circled, and he does too, where they believe this could be your best track at a win. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I think so. It's just super fast pace, and line changes a lot throughout a race. It's more of what, I'm used to and been used to my whole career with the sprint car stuff. So yeah, I'm excited. I always have a fun time coming to Bristol no matter what. So yeah, really good car there, and we'll get qualified, and hopefully it'll go good from there.
And Corey mentioned it, a lot of those guys that have that open wheel sprint car experience, they seem to be the ones to watch here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yeah, you got to make such quick decisions in those races, and I think that applies, I would think it would apply to a place like this for sure, where you're constantly making decisions.
He had a little mark there on the right side, got a little scuff of the wall, just testing it out.
Well, I thought maybe it was going to happen last week at Rockingham. Such a good day. Led 118 laps. Won some stages, ultimately got away from them at the end, but he is knocking on the door, no doubt, of that first career win, and in the car that won this race a year ago here at Bristol.
They seem to be the ones to watch here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yeah, you got to make such quick decisions in those races. ready to go in qualifying. And Gray Gaulding will be the first driver on the racetrack in Mike Harmon 74 this weekend. First start for Gray since 2023. So good to have him back here in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series.
They need to tell Gray to breathe. And you come to Bristol for your comeback after being gone for so long. This place will get your attention. Qualifying here, just barrel it off into the. Oh, that thing is loose. Hang on. Yeah. Lost all of his momentum there. Coming to the green flag.
That'll get your attention. You mentioned first time back. Right up. That's a great start to qualifying, but the best part about here is you get the chance to make it up.
Out of turn number 4. First lap 16.146 for Gray. Not only is it his first start of the year, first start since 2023, his first Bristol start, and the thing is loose.
Really loose. And that's one of the things you have to do here is you have to make that adjustment from practice. The teams will look at this and they kind of call it their assessment of how much they want to do in terms of tighten the cars up for qualifying. It's such a fine line here, but when you're loose, the only thing you can do is slow down.
See, he's in that traction compound on the bottom. Right on the top of it, that car over-rotates. We heard everybody talk about being tight. The extra grip on the track typically make the balance tight. A little bit of an over-adjustment right there for the 74 car.
Here's Kyle Sieg, 28 car. 3 straight DNFs for them, so they are trying to get things going back in the right direction here this weekend.
I don't think going out early is going to be as bad as what we see at a lot of these other tracks, because you're not going to be picking up all that rubber. It's fun to watch what happens here for all these guys. Does the track trend faster? You see Sieg a little bit up on what Gray Gaulding was able to run. I think that's where he wants to be in practice.
And we're going to get a good benchmark of the early track conditions here. Quapple and Sam Mayer both going out in the first 10 cars. So that'll give us a good idea of maybe just how much speed is in the racetrack for these early qualifiers. Kyle Sieg goes faster on his second lap, 15.959.
Get a look here of Bilicki pulling out. They're actually pulling out on the backstretch, so he'll cross the start-finish line right here, but this is not where your lap starts. So the drivers will leave and not run as hard as you can, run pretty easy over to about the middle of the backstretch. You've got your momentum built up, and to me it's kind of a reset right here, like, all right, now's when my lap starts. How can I generate as much run as I need? A little high right there on the exit for Josh. Lap starts now, though. Got 2 laps, 30 seconds.
Yep.
Most guys can hold their breath for the 30 seconds, and that's what you're going to do.
All of that adds up to about 45 seconds.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, you've got to be ready when you leave the pits here, because it happens so quick. And even after practice, when you get in a car for qualifying, it's hard to express how fast everything happens inside the car at this track.
It's hard to make an adjustment, even though you get these 2 laps and you're trying to compartmentalize exactly what's happening and what you're trying to do. And then if something happens in the first lap, you try to make that adjustment for lap 2. But it happens so quickly, you almost have to have a little bit of a game plan in that, because you definitely don't have the time to maybe make a big brake bias adjustment or anything like that. You just have to try to adjust what you're doing in the car on the fly.
Bilicki goes to second, bumps Gaulding to third. Here's Blake Lothian in one of the Joey Gase racing cars. His first career start last week at the Rock. And his first start obviously here at Bristol. Does have some experience in the trucks and ARCA competition.
Yeah, this car is not up to speed. You can hear how much he's out of the throttle, just kind of rolling the corners here. Blake was slowest in practice earlier today.
Oh, man, and he got sideways there. Got the blot of the apron.
That was a big moment for the 35. Just trying to bring it around here. Keep it going the right direction.
Yeah, give me an adjustment.
Yeah, a big one. An adjustment. And you mentioned it visually. You can see just not quite.
Yeah, you can't even hustle
pace,
the car, and it looks
still out of
control. Yeah.
38 cars entered, by the way, so everybody going to make the show. Lothian will be the slowest of the 4 that have taken time. Here's a replay of that moment.
Got down into the corner. You see the left front was down below, and then right there, the left front goes below the yellow line. That's getting to the apron, it de-wedges the race car, kicks the right rear out, and you're chasing it up the track.
So here's Carson Kvapil in the 9 car. Finished 5th last week in the 1, but since this car is part-time, that's why he is going out early in the order here.
Such a cool scheme, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
a really pretty scheme.
Great looking car.
The fluorescent orange is awesome.
I think those bright colors are always look good on a race car.
That's how race cars should look. Reminds me of the tape that used to be on the front of the early 2000s in NASCAR that you put on the highlighter tape.
And he made up a lot of ground in 3 and 4 right there. That lap did not look good through turns 1 and 2. It's a little quicker than he ran in practice. He ran a 15:88 in practice, 15:81 that first lap. 1 and 2, though, it looks like it's a little bit of a struggle. It's good down in 3 and 4. Oh, it's going away on him.
Yeah, got a little high on the exit.
15:81 for the 9 and Kvapil. That's the mark that everybody else will be shooting for the time being. And let's hear from some more drivers. We'll start with Kim.
Yeah, Bristol's been a great place for Anthony Alfredo. In fact, a couple years ago, you and crew chief Joshua Graham qualified 3rd. So what kind of splash can you guys make here today?
Hopefully a good one. It's Bristol, baby. I love coming to this track. It's definitely my favorite on the circuit. And the energy from the fans here is unmatched. So we've got a really fast Chevrolet. We have a new sponsor on board, Ohio Logistics. So really excited to have them on board this season for a couple races. And hopefully we start on the right foot here. We had a great practice session. We're 7th overall and had pretty good long run speed, which is what we're going to need later. So try to get us a good starting position for the race by being up front. Makes the job a lot easier come the race tonight. So we'll lay a lap down.
Thanks, Kim. Austin Green is next up to qualify. Already done with his first lap. He's 5th right now.
Yeah, Carson was the only guy in this group to go quicker on his first lap. All these other guys went quicker on their second lap. And honestly, it just looks to me like you gotta just go a little quicker than you did in practice. So we don't see big pickups like we see at a lot of tracks. Whether it's just being a short track or just the track being a little bit greasy here in qualifying.
I think it is. It's the heat here today. It's a hotter day. We know it's going to cool down as we get towards the race. So this track is almost losing grip. There's all the rubber that was laid down from cars running almost 100 laps in practice.
A race?
Yeah, so many cars ran half a race basically. So there's a lot of rubber on this racetrack. I do think it could get quicker as we go along here, but it's not the massive pickup that we see sometimes at this racetrack qualifying.
Yeah, and we saw Taylor Gray run a 15:74 in practice. We know that was a mock run, so track does have a little bit more speed in it. I'd feel pretty good looking at that right now if I were Taylor, based on what we see these, Kvapil and some of these other guys run to start with.
Here's Joey Gase making his 6th start of the year, 7th start of the year, I should say, in his own equipment. He's 6th right now, just in front of the team car. Make his way
Struggling
out of
there as
4.
well. Up the racetrack, big wiggle. Both of those cars looked pretty out of the racetrack.
Second lap better for Joey. 16.619 is the time. Here's Sam Mayer. Heard from him earlier. Here's Sam Mayer. Heard from him earlier. 4 top 10s and 6 starts here, and has won in trucks and multiple divisions of ARCA.
That's right. 4-wheel drift to the exit.
Started pushing a little bit more.
Started 2nd here last fall and finished 3rd, did Mayer.
It looks smooth. The track
really good 2-4 there.
Goes to 2nd, 15.855.
Better 1 and 2. It's really wrapping well on the exit. That's what I noticed off of 4 in that first lap. It stays down again.
Got back to the throttle really nice. 3 and 4. Mayer goes to the top. 15.769. Now the new mark, Sam Mayer at the top of the board. Heather, sorry.
And Brent Cruz is making his first career start here at Bristol Motor Speedway in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, but you do have experience here in some of those lower series. So where's your confidence level at as you get ready to go out here and qualify for the first time?
I think it's pretty high. We won the ARC race here last year with the same paint scheme and the same race team. So we have a really good car today, really fast, Mobil 1 Toyota Supra. Excited to go qualify it. Hopefully I can qualify a little bit better than I have been in the past, but I know we have a good race car, so just excited to get out there.
All right, Brent Cruz will be one to watch later on this evening.
And Starpoli just had a massive moment down in 1 and 2. Went way up the racetrack.
First start in this series for him here.
We say that every week.
Yeah,
Yes,
I was going to say,
well,
it's pretty consistent.
I was going to say, he has some experience here in other disciplines, unlike some of the other racetracks he goes to. But yes, they're all different and all new for him as he embarks on his first full-time year. He'll go to 7th and stay there on his 2nd lap for Patrick Staropoli.
I think he most likely decided discretion was the better part of valor when the moment he had on his basically warm-up lap there was pretty large. So if we take a look back here, this car gets sideways and then sits in the left rear, and from a different angle, he was headed directly towards the outside retaining wall there off of 4. So
All these guys,
smart move.
Yeah, all these guys in practice complained about tight. I haven't seen one tight one yet in qualifying. That would be the advantage of going later in qualifying. If you're a crew chief or a driver sitting, you know, watching what we are, and you see how loose everybody is, especially for the junior motorsports guys. If you had Quapo out early, based on his balance, you could adjust off of that.
Garrett Smithley in the 0. Another one that has had some fun paint schemes this year. This is a Chariot, I'm being told.
Interesting.
So keep an eye on that later.
I thought it looked like coffee.
I wasn't sure if it was camo or what exactly
well,
it was.
I see the horse on the
I saw
side.
the horse on there, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's going so fast, it's hard to get
Wait a second, guys.
Good view.
Last Great Coliseum, Gladiator, Roman.
That's why you're here, Parker.
It all clicked suddenly.
Not just
catch on to that?
Not just a hat rack.
Where were you? I didn't hear you say anything.
Oh boy, qualifying underway. Sam Mayer, Carson Quapple, and Kyle Sieg, the top 3. Next up will be Dean Thompson, first car for Sam Hunt Racing. Talked about them in practice earlier. This place was pretty good to Dino last year. Finished 10th in the spring, 12th in the fall. And, look at it from every angle here. Got the bumper cam, love that shot. And looking back at him there in the onboard camera on the right.
And you look at that bottom right perspective, you see the headrest to the right of his helmet. I always ran about a half-inch more foam here because it's so hard on your neck. You're in the corner for so long. Oh, hang on. He's hustling that thing.
And I agree with you, I did the same thing. Just a little more patty on the right. Your head almost starts to the left, but it just feels better. Good first lap.
Dean goes to 4th.
For as exciting as it was a really good first lap. It's incredible how smooth it looks on track, and then when you watch how much, you see more of the throttle. See how much work it is inside of the car.
He'll take his first lap, 15.984. Good enough for 4th for the 26 for Sam Hunt Racing. Let's hear from the driver of the other Sam Hunt Racing, Harrison Burton.
Yeah, his teammate. And Harrison, I was listening to your radio at the end of practice, and you said you were fearful of everything you guys did in practice. So what kind of concerns do you have, not only for qualifying, but for the race later?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we had a really tough practice to know what we had going on. We had a right rear tire going down we didn't really know about, so we don't really know when it was going down. On top of that, we had kind of some new setup items that we were trying and took out of it, and all of a sudden the car rotated and was way too loose. So now we kind of have to go back to baseline and figure out where we're at and go from there. But so thankful for everyone at Sam Hunt Racing for working hard, everyone at Dead on Tools for having our back. We've got a cool night theme paint scheme where it's all kind of flat white. It looks awesome. So hopefully go qualify good and have a good day.
That 24 car was part-time last year. Corey Heim was in it at this spring Bristol race and finished 8th. So have some good notes at least as Jeremy Clements lays down a nice lap, goes to 3rd.
Great lap. That's a really hard practice session that Harrison explained. Yes. When you have all that going against you, you're really just guessing when to go into qualifying for the race tonight. Even though you got to run a little bit of practice, you just don't know.
Next up, Ryan Ellis in the Young's Motorsports car.
He's hustling that thing coming to the green. He hasn't started his lap yet. We're trying to get some heat in the tires. It'd be interesting to see is that. Ooh,
do a little run.
Yeah, do a little run to the start-finish line here. See how that works out for him. That thing is loose on entry.
Finished 22nd last weekend at Rockingham.
See, he can't pull on the wheel until right there, about 3/4 way around the corner. Sawing on it on exit, loose on entry again.
No, just can't trust it. He can't
turn
commit.
to the right.
Yeah, there's no confidence in the car. You can see that with all the wheel movement. He's constantly second guessing each sort of jab to the left, and then there it goes on the right, to the right on the right rear on the exits. That's a tough lap. It's almost every car is on edge, just looking for right rear grip.
First lap the fastest for Ellis. He slots into the 10th spot. Heather?
And William Swalich is coming off of that first career win here in the O'Reilly Series, and you can feel the relief almost oozing off of you a little bit here, William, but you're at Bristol, one of your favorite tracks. Will we see you go back-to-back this weekend? Do you think you have what it takes?
I mean, there's a good possibility. You know, momentum can kind of switch everything around. We've got a good Sound Gear GR Super today. Kind of looks like a pumpkin with the dash for cash on it, but I like it.
All right, he's going to be going for that money tonight as well.
If they give him the cash, you can make it look like whatever you want.
That's right.
Who cares?
Yep, that's exactly right. I like his confidence. He was really, really confident last week at Rockingham. We talked to him pre-race, paid off, delivered on the confidence, and when you win a race, I think that can only help that confidence. Josh Williams on his 2nd lap here was 9th in the first lap.
Josh is one of those guys we saw run to the very end of practice, had the track all to himself 15 or 20 minutes ago.
That's 2 times he's been on track, wondering if there's anyone else around here.
Sorry, where's everybody at?
He'll stay 9th. First lap was actually the fast one for the 92, 16:151. The time for Josh. 3 Haas Factory Team Alliance cars in the top 4 right now, with Mayer, Clements, and Sieg, and Quapple splitting them up there in the Junior Motorsports number 9 car. J.J. Yaley in the 5 for Hettinger Racing, making his 4th start of the year. Finished 20th last week at the Rock. And plenty of experience at this racetrack too.
Went up the racetrack there off the 2. A little bit of tire smoke there for the left rear. You can see that thing moving around, and now way out of the groove on the exit of 4.
There have been some evil cars qualified
definitely
today.
been. I think
it's treacherous today.
Well, you talk about guessing. I think the crew chiefs are guessing, and their normal adjustments, or for whatever reason, everyone was so tight in practice, they chose not to make the qualifying adjustments, which then, when you add the downforce of the tape and just the pumped up tires, you can end up with a very loose race car.
And we see it's a nice sunny day. It's about 40 degrees warmer right now than qualifying in this race last spring. So, of course, these teams do race in the summer, and the temperatures in the summer race a little bit more compatible. But for this first race of the year, not used to it being this warm. Anthony Alfredo, the first of the Viking Motorsports cars onto the Speedway.
He was good in practice.
He was.
It'd be good to see, like, kind of where the track is. I know we talked about Carson earlier. He was 9th in practice. Alfredo, though, was up to 7th at a 1585. If just match that, he'd be in good shape.
Finished 6th here a few years ago when he was driving for RCR.
Looks the same. Up out of the track. Slide the back. You see that? He's trying to eat that lineup, but the back is dancing around.
Goes 5th.
See if he can clean up here out of 2. Just a little high on the exit. That's definitely a better 1 and 2. Be more patient with it on the exit of 4. Little pickup.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, better. Up to 3rd for Alfredo. So 2 decent laps there. Has him in a good spot to start his qualifying run. Heather?
And here now with Taylor Gray, and he and I were just talking about how this may not be his favorite track or his best track, but you've upped your preparation. So what exactly have you been working on to get better in the O'Reilly car here at Bristol?
Yeah, I think just, working all off-season and in the past month and a half or so, and just kind of dialing in on what I needed to be better at, and studying SMT and kind of where, Justin Allgaier, it stands out in my mind. He's really good here. So just kind of studying on what he was doing, and obviously Kyle last year in the spring race. So yeah, just working really hard to get better, and obviously it's helped a lot, right? I mean, practice went really well so far, so hopefully we can get a good qualifying run, but really proud of everyone at Joe Gibbs Racing and Jason Ratcliffe and Toyota Racing, bringing a really fast operation there at GR Supra. So just got to execute qualifying here and hopefully get a good starting spot for the race.
Had their best run of the season last week at Rockingham, finished 7th, so that hard work, good to see some dividends from that. Blaine Perkins done with his qualifying run, goes 11th.
I didn't think Taylor's lap in practice was very impressive until now. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, if he can just back up what he did, and I mean, you make that run and you're gonna do your adjustments based on what you learned there, but if the track has changed, whew, maybe get a little read here from his teammate.
The Cruz missile, Brent Cruz out on the track. First O'Reilly start here at Bristol. Experience in trucks and ARCA.
There's a bit of cloud cover that came over.
You like that?
If you believe in that sort of thing,
sure.
Can make an immediate effect.
Missed the bottom right there on the exit of turn 2. It washed up just a little bit on him. See, he is extremely low. We saw that in practice as well.
White.
Cruz goes 3rd on his first lap. About a 10th off.
There you go.
Way better
there
1 and 2.
Way better.
It hooked right there. And that's what we're talking about. You saw it just track that yellow line.
Yep, good lap right here. Oh, he slid a little bit.
Yeah,
All right.
got way out to the wall.
He'll stay 3rd. Worth mentioning, too, Eric Almirola in the 19-1 in this car last fall, so they've got a good notebook, too.
And what you saw there, how good he was in 1 and 2, when the car hooks the bottom like that, it almost pulls you around the corner and wraps, and you can just increase the throttle throughout the corner. But then off of 4, what happens is you get overzealous like that, and you try to commit back the throttle, you get impatient. You want it to do the same thing it did 1 and 2. They're not shaped the same, they drive totally differently, and the banking falls away at the same time, and that's when you end up going out to the outside wall and hurting your speed when you have to check up on the throttle like Brent did.
Logan Bearden back in this garage aboard the 42 for Young's Motorsports. First start of the year, saw him a few times last year. Made 4 starts, best finish was 23rd at Nashville. And he's run here a couple times.
He had a pretty adventurous 1 and 2 on the first lap there. Way better second lap to 1 and 2. Way tidier.
He's 13th on his first lap, and big
Good
pickup
lap.
up to 8th. Yeah, nice lap for Logan Beard and the 42 car.
He almost had almost a diamond. It was only a couple of feet, but I think that was a little easier based on how loose all these cars we've seen today.
Halfway home in qualifying, plenty of heavy hitters still to come, including Jesse Love, Harrison Burton, and Sam Smith.
Racing successfully at Bristol, we thought, why not talk to a crew chief? So we've got Marty Lindley, the crew chief for the 88, Carl Larson behind the wheel. But as you think about how the traction compound has been laid down, the high temperatures we have here, all the complaints we've heard of drivers throughout the practice, how complex does this race become for you, especially how you adjust on the race car?
Yeah, I think the balance of the race is really going to change, especially after Cup practice and qualifying. But I thought we had a solid practice with Kyle, and he's got so much experience here, so just looking forward to it.
All right, Jamie, I don't know if that answered your question, but there you have it.
Did you get that? That did not answer my
question. I like
question.
the ambition, though, Kim. That was very cool to have crew chief. We don't always do that.
I feel like Marty couldn't quite hear her because of the cars on the track, and he just said what he was going to say.
Yeah,
you know,
he had a pre-planned.
Yeah. My thought is that as we watched all these guys go out and practice, everyone complained about tight. Almost everybody we heard, they're like, there's a lot more grip, the balance is too tight. But every car we've seen so far in qualifying has been too loose. And if you're Marty and you're down on pit road, you know the adjustments that you've made to your car. And you're like, did I go too far? Did I not go enough? To me, that's when you start second guessing yourself. And just on exactly what you need to do.
And you can make adjustments up until you get to about 6 or 7 cars away. So
he doesn't look too worried. Yeah. As I look at him there, it looks to me like they're talking about what they're going to have for dinner later.
Saw Mason Maggio complete his run in the 91 car. He's 14th right now. Here's Jesse Love in the 2, making the green flag.
This could be a good one.
Yeah, downforce Danny's got it tuned up right now.
Oh, that was a good one in 2. Just had a little slide off of 2.
Very disciplined exit right there. Maybe gave up a little bit of speed, but it looked underneath him. He can now kind of hustle this on his second lap, see if he can get a little more out of it.
A very similar 1 and 2. See if the exit of 4 can be better. Now got away from him. He just had to be patient through the middle of 4 there. Couldn't get back the throttle.
Yep.
Still a good lap. 3rd for Jesse Love. Check back in with Heather.
Brandon Jones, one of the drivers at the tail end of this qualifying session. So you've been watching on to see what everybody else is doing. What do you think you're going to do when you get out on track there? Do you have what it takes to get the pole tonight?
Well, that's the benefit of having such a good week last week. I get to watch all these guys and see where they're making mistakes, right? So I'm excited for Bristol this weekend, being a part of the Dash for Cash, having a monster on the hood of our Toyota GR Supra. Just a really cool weekend, and I've been chasing a sword for a long time. So I feel like this weekend's a lot about qualifying. We saw how important track position was last night in that truck race. I think our cars will move around a little bit better than the trucks did, but I still think qualifying will be big. So studying to see where we can make some pace here, but really liked where we were in practice there.
Brandon has started second and finished second here in the past, just looking for one spot better as LeVar Scott. Next up, he's 11th on his first lap. Yeah, nice lap two going here too.
He's given it, looks like most of that lap time's given up in 3 and 4. He gave up about a 10th through 1 and 2. 3 and 4 has been the focus for all these guys.
LeVar, another rookie in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series, but does have some ARCA laps under his belt.
I think we got to start giving the sword more respect.
How do you say it?
The sword?
You say sword?
I know you say it's sword or something weird.
Yeah, people don't like it.
Yeah. No, I say that just because to me, winning at Bristol, it's like a crown jewel event. But the amount of people that show up here, it's just a fun event. And I feel like we talk about the clock a lot, and we don't talk about the sword enough.
Hey, we see Jeb Burton here, the Jordan Anderson racing car. Just a reminder, Raja Karuth, the 32 car, not going to make a lap here. They had some issues in practice that they were going to take time to fix before the race. So won't qualify, but start at the back. He'll still be in the show. Jeb Burton on a nice looking lap here.
It was a really good 1 and 2. He was right on it. Can he keep that up? It's coming the right way again down the back to see if he can tidy up 3 and 4.
Oh, he got to the gas hard right there. You heard it, but just doesn't have the exit. Mayer did a really good job in 3 and 4 because as you compare to all these guys, 1 and 2, they can maintain or maybe even gain a little ground on Sam, but that haircut had him hooked through turns 3 and 4.
And what I thought it was, aside from the haircut, is that when we watched Sam's lap, he just got a major rotation in the middle of 3 and 4, and it got the car pointed and allowed him to just get back the throttle off of there. And that's why you keep seeing that where these drivers are having to be more patient to get back that throttle off of 4. And I'm talking milliseconds difference, but that's the difference here at Bristol, first or being third, fourth.
See what Harrison Burton can do. Spoke about the challenges that they had in their practice earlier today. So see if they can get it righted for qualifying to lay a lap down.
And it looked good. The tracker's not showing what, just visually looking at that. I thought 1 and 2 looked really good. He lost about the same amount on both ends. Again, a little bit better here. Looks like he's hustling just a little bit harder. 10th off. Gosh, visually it looks very stable. Looks like he's flag right there. Not a horrible lap right there. 15.99, going to put him 10th overall.
He and his teammate right next to each other. So
Sam loves that.
That's how it works.
Yeah, it's like they know they were similar. They brought the same stuff.
Everybody's still chasing Sam Mayer and Carson Quapple. Those two went out early within the first 10 cars, and the marks that they set have not been challenged too closely. Brennan Poole and the 44 for Alpha Prime Racing. He'll take the green flag.
Definitely one of those places where I feel like Brennan Poole can do Brennan Poole things and get an outsized finish in this car here.
That was 10th here last fall, and reminder, had that big crash with Sheldon Creed in the spring that kind of ended his day before it started. Yeah, nice looking lap.
There you go. Yeah, 5th. All right, still got 1 to go. He did a really good job. He did a better 1 and 2 right here on his second lap.
Wow.
I'd have a contender for the pole right here with Poole.
Lost a little through the center of 3 and 4, but a nice improvement. Third for Brennan Poole in front of some really good race cars as we sit right now.
Heck yeah, good job.
Brennan Poole doing Brennan Poole things.
Exactly like you said. This is always a racetrack where it seems like he's just kind of in the mix and does a lot with not as much as some of the other teams in the garage, for sure.
That was incredible. They're going to end up in a great spot for today.
Ryan Sieg next up About 10 or 11 cars remaining here in qualifying. Started 5th here in this race last spring. That was his best career start here at Bristol. Got in the gas hard out at 1 and 2.
Really good. And then you see gives it up there in 3 and 4.
White.
Didn't use nearly all the racetrack on the exit 4, which isn't always a bad thing. It can mean it got rotated.
7th for Sieg on his first lap.
It's going the right way. Can he make a difference down here?
The entry at 3, a challenge for everybody. And Sieg does improve up to 4th. 1583 for the 39.
Back to Brendan Poole's lap, he picked up almost 2/10. It's huge.
That's
here.
hard to do, yeah.
That's
especially
the biggest
here.
of anyone here from practice this run.
Some guys just love to qualify, right?
Yeah.
Some guys can just.
I'm still astonished. That might be the lap of the day. I don't know.
Sammy Smith for Junior Motorsports finished 4th in the spring race last year. And that top 10 streak that he'd had since the start of the year came to an end last week at Rockingham, but chance to start another streak here this weekend. Still having a career best start to his 2026 campaign.
He's really been consistent in just all the places he's been good. He's just taken that next step forward, leap forward. And this is 1 and 2. That was really good right there. Real close down at 3 and 4.
He's as close as anybody's been through 3 and 4.
But it just slipped away once again on the exit of 4. But I do think he's just taken every step of his game and taken it to the next level this year. And it's showing up in the results, and it's showing up on the racetrack. And I can tell even when he does his interviews and what he talks, his confidence level, it's visible that his confidence has gone up as well.
Yeah, he and Corey Shea working really, really well together. New crew chief and driver pairing over there on the 8 car, but they have meshed about as well as you could hope for, I think. Whoa, hang on, Austin.
Hey.
Talked a lot about the 21 earlier in practice and about their concerns for this racetrack and just what it's provided for them in years past.
Oh, he's out of the groove right
threw
there.
It down in there. It was into the green, and then the car did not stick. Paid the price on the exit. You see that in the tracker.
Have to regroup here on lap 2. He's going to know that he missed 1 and 2. You see way more disciplined right there. Doesn't have the speed, though. Car just not sticking. 3 and 4. Again, very disciplined, being able to run the bottom, but he just cannot roll the speed that Sam Mayer could earlier in this session.
His best start here previously has been 15th. He's 14th with the final 10 cars still remaining in qualifying. Sam Mayer, Carson Quapple, Brennan Poole, Ryan Sieg, and Jesse Love. Top 5. upstairs patrolling the pit lanes. And guys, before these next few cars go, real quick, you know, we've talked about how important we think qualifying is. Kyle Larson last year in this race lapped up to 12th or 13th at the end of stage 1. You don't want to start at the back here.
Nope, not even a little bit. It's massively important because when you start towards the back, you're basically half a lap down before you get going around this place. So it's really important to try and have early track position.
Well, everybody's going to be watching Taylor Gray right now. He was the fastest that we had in practice, and he just needs to back up exactly what he ran. He ran a 15.74 earlier. They've already got a mock run, so they've made adjustments. So you look on the bottom right, it's a little bit quicker. It's going the right way. It's all about 3 and 4, though.
Oh, this is going to be close.
Oh, it is close, but it's not enough. Going to need a little more.
Second for Gray. See if he can dig deep on the second lap.
Made an adjustment there, 1 and 2, just roll a little more center speed. You see the tracker likes it.
Oh boy, going the wrong direction.
Not quite.
2 good laps though for Taylor Gray. 15.
That's a good feeling.
That's awesome. Yep. Mayer survives.
You sit down in the infield, and what Sam's looking at is the big jumbotron and you're just looking to see if that car gets loose or if it wiggles. And when he didn't see that, probably thought he was going to get beat, but held on.
It's 200 separating those two. Doesn't get much closer. Corey Day, see the numbers there. 7 straight top 10s. Got his first pole last week at Rockingham.
You know, that gives you a lot of confidence to qualify once you've got the first pole. The next time you get to qualify thinking, I've already known how to do this.
That car looks stable.
It does, but it's just the lap time's not there. Almost like it's tight.
Yeah, a little bit. Try to hustle here just a little bit more, see if he can get anything else out of it. But he is just all over that line. But look at it now. He's adjusted here a little bit quicker. Gave up some time on entry.
You can hold on to this. It should be a much better lap. Austin still off of 4, but a nice pickup inside the top 10. Day goes to 8th.
Yeah, the unfortunate part about Bristol is just a little off is a lot of positions.
Yep.
You know, that didn't seem that bad of a lap, but if you look at where it puts him with still quite a few cars to go.
Yeah,
8th overall, yeah.
You're talking hundreds and thousands of a second here separating 5, 6, 7 spots. So tiniest of margins here at this racetrack. Parker Retzloff next up.
Not a good feeling coming to the green when it's already sliding the back. Typically doesn't get better here at Bristol. It all happens so quick.
And Jetzloff is a great qualifier, but that car did not like getting down the bottom right there, but it comes back around the exit.
Yeah, good
time.
Just diving in the corner there, had all that momentum down the backstretch. He's not disappointing here again.
White flag.
Can he make an adjustment?
4th on his first lap.
Look at this.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. He went for it. He had it, I think, too.
All the confidence from 1 and 2 and just threw it off into 3 and 4 and had the big wiggle there.
He's going to tell him I had it, and we're going to say you did.
The tracker.
Right. You did.
You were. SMT will show you the same story, unfortunately.
You got a little lucky on that one, buddy.
Hey, real quick, too, as we get a look at Retzloff here, 9 different organizations in the top 10 right now. So great to see some teams that maybe don't normally qualify super well up in the mix at the front of the field. Retzloff, though, going to have to settle for 4th as Connor Zilic hits the speedway.
Get a great onboard here.
See him being a little loose on entry, then yanking that wheel to the left, trying to get it to rotate.
That's a good 1 and 2. Watch that throttle. It's not all at once. You got to feed it back onto the exit. Especially down here, if you do it correctly. It's just the bottom.
Less than a 10th off the leader, and he's 10th on the board.
Car looked a little loose on entry, and then he did not turn through the middle at all.
And you could tell it wasn't turning because when I talk about feeding the throttle, you want to see a consistent increase in the throttle. What you notice there is we'd kind of get to 50%, then hesitate for a moment, then get back to increasing the throttle, and that's the mark of a car that's just not rotating through the center. When it does the correct things, you'll see that throttle increase the whole way, wrapping the bottom.
Handful of cars left. Sheldon Creed on the track. The Ollie's Bargain Outlet 00. 5 straight top 10s for him. Finished 6th last weekend.
Knowing his teammates first, you got to think this car is going to have a shot at it. It's looking good already on lap 1. Really good exit of turn 2. Look at the speed down the backstretch. Overdrive the entry here. Got a little bit in the bank.
This is huge.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he's plenty good. Sheldon Creed makes it a Haas factory team 1-2.
Where's crew chief? I'd quit it there.
See, Sam, it wasn't even close, so that's not disappointing. Yeah, not even close.
Sheldon's got a 2nd lap here. It's not going to be
Check your flag there. Good job, bud. P1.
I'd have told him that after down to 1 and 2 on the first one.
JT, tell him to shut her down.
You're good.
Tell you what, I'd feel really good if I was the 00 right now. That's a big gap
Massive.
to 2nd place.
Sheldon's got the track position either way. Even if the pole lap doesn't stand, he's going to be inside the top 5 to start this race right where you want to be. Here's William Sawalich, one of the Dash for Cash eligible drivers, courtesy of that win last week at Rockingham.
I totally get the pumpkin analogy now as I stare at that car with the green and the orange.
That green on the nose and spoiler again, Dash for Cash.
Good lap. He said, hang on, it's not over yet. Look at this. It's growing.
Oh, yeah.
Really good 3 and 4.
He got it.
To the top.
To the top. 2 good weeks in a row for the young racer from Minnesota.
Big wiggle there. He's going to slow down as well. It's almost like you want to get it done on the first lap.
Yeah. Yeah, Creed slowed down on the 2nd lap, and Sawalich does too.
Yeah, and if you're on pit road and you've seen the last 2 laps,
oh yeah,
you're pulling your seatbelts a little tighter.
Yep.
You're like, okay, I'm gonna have to get a little bit more than I thought right here.
There's some speed left in the racetrack, that is for sure. 3 cars left. Here's Sawalich's Joe Gibbs Racing teammate Brandon Jones in the 20.
Brandon's on a roll. If you look at those runner-up finishes in 2 of the last 3 races, you see he's going to go up and get that run like we saw a few other guys do. Knowing his teammate just put an incredible lap together. This is still a good lap. It's just those last 2 have been so fast that seeing a little bit of red here.
Yeah, right now he's tracking for 3rd. Out of 4, and that's where he'll go on his first lap. Slots in there between the 2 Haas factory cars.
And these guys that have been able to get so much out of the first lap, the grip is just not there on the 2nd lap. You see all of them have faded quite a bit. It's still a great lap. Be happy with that.
Okay, so we've got Gibbs cars 1st, 3rd, and 5th. The Haas cars 2nd and 4th.
But
with 2 JRM cars to go, including the defending race winner,
Kyle Larson.
Again, a reminder, he was in the 17 last year when he won this race. Has been in the 88 twice this year, won at Vegas, finished 4th at Darlington.
And we didn't get much of information from Marty Lindley as to what he decided to do.
Keeping it close to the vest.
But I'm sure there was all sorts of little changes done as that car rolled up.
Well, and one thing we know about Kyle is he's pretty good about adjusting and self-medicating what he needs from his race car.
Had a little wiggle on the entry at both ends. You can see, been able to roll the bottom. Still a good lap. Going to put him 3rd overall right now. See if he can adjust. Can he find some speed in this 2nd lap?
Not quite there, 1 and 2.
Sawalich watching anxiously. I think he's going to be okay on this lap. Larson slows down. First lap good enough for 3rd, 15.709 for the 88. With 1 car left. And it's the former series champ, 2-time winner here at Bristol, Justin Allgaier in the 7.
And both those JRM cars look very, the one of Connor Zilich and the 88 look very similar. Let's see at the 7. Maybe reacts differently. Maybe they've gone a different path setup-wise.
I like coming to the green on the bottom. That thing is loose.
Well, we may see a faster 2nd lap here.
Oof. Yeah, couldn't get loose in a worse place, but he had 2 tenths off. See if he can reset here, get another good run. Probably know you don't have a shot at the pole, but just trying to get all you can.
Allgaier was 21st on his first lap, not even on the pylon here.
Yeah, not a bad recovery here, though, for as loose as that car has been. If he can just maintain right here, not overdrive this corner.
Just around the top 5, just outside.
Good recovery. Into the top 10. 7 for the 7. 7th for the 7. And number 3 for the 18. Third career pole for William Sawalich. Won last week at the Rock, and he'll lead the field to green tonight in Bristol, Kim.
That's right. Dylan starts this race where he finished last week. That's P1. Were you nervous watching those last handful of cars go for their run?
Not really. I mean, I knew I had a pretty solid first lap. My second lap was pretty loose, but our Sound Gear GR Supra was on rails in qualifying, and we were pretty good in practice. So I think the track position will help us tremendously in the race.
All right, that's William Sawalich, the pumpkin car, as he dubbed it on the pole, Heather.
And Sheldon Creed will be outside front row for tonight's race. It's going to be all about execution to stay out front. Do you and your team have a good plan in order to do that tonight?
Oh, I think so. I feel like our Ollie's good stuff. Cheap Chevrolet felt strong in practice, and yeah, qualifying's been tough for me here for whatever reason, so feel good with the front row start, and yeah, just got to stay up front, navigate the lap traffic well, and yeah, have good pit stops and try to stay towards the front.
All right, that's Sheldon Creed, who came up second place today.
Those guys both in good spots. Track position so important, and they've got it. Later on tonight, here's how we'll line them up. William Sawalich and Sheldon Creed on the front row.
Right, and then you look further back there, row 5, though. Brennan Poole. I mean, that was maybe the performance of the day there for Alpha Prime to be in the top 10. Absolutely awesome for him. And Parker Retzlaff up there in the top 10. We know how fast he was looking until he got loose.
Another guy we're going to keep our eye on. You see outside row 7, Corey Day, thinking he's close to getting his first win. Connor Zilich going to start just inside of him, and then Brent Cruz, who's been good at all the races he's been in this year. Be fun to watch those guys if they can make their way to the front.
Austin Hill here in row 12. They've said they need to be better here. They need to work on it. Didn't quite see it there in practice or qualify, but maybe they're hoping they'll be better in the race for him, and that's tough starting that far back. They have to go early on.
Back few rows, the drivers with the most work to do, and the ones that are in danger of going a lap down the soonest. Get a look at them there. Raja Karuth, the one to keep your eye on there. Dash for Cash driver, had mechanical issues in practice. They did not qualify, so Raja is going to have to get to it quickly once we drop the green later on the night. All right, guys, practice qualifying done. What kind of race are we going to see tonight?
Well, I think momentum is what I see. Like Sawalich to be able to win last weekend at Rockingham and come out here, qualify first. But I'm also thankful that Allgaier and Larson didn't qualify first, second, because I want to watch them and see if they can pass. It does seem like it's going to be a bottom dominant track, but maybe Cup practice can change that, Parker.
I think we got a really competitive field, especially compared to what we saw here in the spring last year. And I think the other thing is, to that point, Jamie, about the top side coming in, when do you make your move to the top? What are you looking for? What marks and metrics are you using to decide? Some people think it's time of the night. Some people think it's amount of laps in a green flag run. Everyone's got a different theory, but when do you make that move to the top is going to be a huge decision for a lot of these teams and drivers.
And some guys just do that subconsciously. They just know, but other guys, it takes the crew chief or the spotter mentioning, hey, there's other guys out there moving around. So lots to digest for the drivers and crew chiefs and teams as they figure out what this racetrack is going to throw at them later tonight. We'll have the Cup cars on the racetrack too, so that's another variable to keep an eye on. Dash for Cash as well. Lots of money and bragging rights on the line. We're on air at 7